Good evening, everyone, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, and especially Roger Caesar, today's guest speaker for this contest. Thank you for giving your speech called I Can See You. This is not my first time seeing Roger, and it's really always a pleasure to see him because Roger is a gifted storyteller. There's so many things we've learned from Toastmasters that he employs just so naturally, whether it's the strong introduction, starting out with the superhero, even to introduce the concept of Invisoman, or using the power of pausing, or even word choices, wonderful word choices like salt and pepper to describe hair. He's also masterful in using Zoom as a means of communication. I remember he'd go like this to talk about how he leaned into the glass, and he'd use his hands like this. And not everybody has mastered the use of Zoom, but you could tell that Roger has done that. His speech today was spoken like a true storyteller. And the story about being young, gifted, and Black, and then seeing a homeless person and being moved to invite him to dinner at the diner was really one that kind of captivated us. He really has a way of drawing the audience in. I think, however, at one point, actually the most critical point, I somehow misheard something and I couldn't hear the transition of what caused the man to flee the diner. I think that, when you're developing a story, you want to build it up and reach that crescendo, and don't build it up and be careful so you don't miss that transition point. So work on that transition. The second thing I would like to say is I wasn't quite clear in terms of about the color of the homeless person. At one point he suddenly said young, gifted, and Black, and then I kind of wondered, was the man Black as well? Because was that part of the connection? And I think that when you're trying to, if that was part of the connection, it could have been repeated. I think the most important suggestion I could make is the power of repetition. The speech title was called I Can See You. I Can See You. So that could have been sprinkled at every juncture, right? At the beginning, at the middle, at the end. It could be echoing, and so it constantly reminds us. If there are messages that you want us as a listener to take home, I think it should be a little bit more concrete, a little tangible, so that we can change our everyday behavior. Is there a specific message like, let's not make, let's make sure you are not, that specific people are invisible, like homeless people. And if it is related to color or something like that. At the point where I think it could have been more focused, you diffused it and started interjecting like the people around you and things like that. Whereas, at the end of the day, you want to end with a powerful conclusion. But I always enjoy your speeches, and again, hope to hear you again. Thank you, Roger.